battling 4-point win over Collingwood in the most sensational grand final since the 1948 draw.
Yet again, Australian football's birthplace is a lonely home of memories. The game echoes in surrounding parkland, where the first official match was played in 1858. A game of kick-to-kick between two brothers whose uncle Paul Hopgood played for the Demons and their best friend Cale.
I'm just stoked that the D's are in the final, even though it's not at the G. I'm just stoked to watch it.
Very good oval, and very sad they didn't get to play here.
Instead of playing in this lockdown city, Melbourne and the Bulldogs from nearby Footscray will compete for the premiership at a ground 3,500 kilometres away. This week marks 18 months since COVID first postponed professional sport in Australia.
To say that this is the most serious threat to our game in 100 years is an understatement.
So let's enjoy it while we've got it.
With the help of state governments, the league and its teams have survived, flying here and there, playing games in front of small crowds or no barriers at all. The aim was to keep the show going.
204 games done, one to go. We've still got to get through 3 days, but it's been an incredible effort by our players, our staff, our clubs, their families. And my team's been incredible. So they've done that with the support of 15 million Australian Rules supporters.
The AFL boss has compared scheduling a season around COVID outbreaks to playing Jenga. In late July, it looked like the building blocks might tumble.
When Queensland shut down, and that happened on a Saturday, and we had 3 games in Queensland that day, we had multiple teams up there, and it just felt for a moment there that we were probably that was going to be the end of it.
Over the past 2 seasons, the AFL has chartered about 280 flights, paid for 140,000 hotel nights, moved 320 tonnes of cargo and overseen 90,000 COVID tests. About $750 million, just over 750 million against the 2019 revenues. So it's been significant.
Look, I mean, 18 months ago, sports was staring down the barrel of billion-dollar losses, and crowds are being nowhere, TV being off. All those big revenue streams were going to be gone. The AFL made really savage cuts. A good third of their workforce. I guess that saved them tens of millions.
And the Demons move a step closer to a grand new flag.
Melbourne has been one of the clubs to suffer losses, despite making its first grand final in 21 years.
We think around $3 million we've lost in gate takings and probably another $1 million in lost income from memberships.
Kate Roffey is the new Demons president. Her club might win the cup, but it'll still be asking for help from the league to cover some of its costs.
I mean, we're in the really unfortunate position of playing in our first, hopefully premiership in 57 years, and we haven't had any of our games in the final series in front of our home crowd and at our home ground. So, we're certainly asking the AFL, for some consideration.
We know what they should be earning given the circumstances, and we come in and support them. So we're going to come through, the clubs are going to come through like us, wounded but still strong through this.
It's a similar story in rugby league, the first sport to resume after last year's first COVID postponement. The NRL is a week away from its grand final, and financially, each team's fortunes have been shaped by COVID outbreaks. The league has promised the hardest hit clubs $7 million compensation packages.
I think what you'll find happens is some sort of a two-speed economy at club level. You'll have the clubs in states that have been able to hold matches this year, like a Brisbane Broncos, for example, at NRL level. Sure, they haven't made the finals, haven't had a great time off the field, but their share price is rocketing because they're actually making profits.
Super Netball made enormous sacrifices to complete its season last month. TV audiences were up 7%, but relocation costs blew out by about $3 million.
The big difference with this year is that the season was somewhat continuing and then got disrupted midway.
The Melbourne lockdown in June was netball's biggest crisis.
Unfortunately, there was many moments that gave us all some nightmares. So One is literally sitting up at 2:30 in the morning with a group of stakeholders trying to decide if Victoria was about to go into a lockdown. So we made the decision early the next morning to move to Adelaide, thinking that we'd be able to see out the season there. And then unfortunately, Adelaide had one of its very rare outbreaks. It very most likely would have fallen over without the support of the governments, and that is the honest reality. So we're completely grateful for their continued support.
Australia's leading female sport not only survived but prospered, finishing its finals in a Brisbane hub before announcing a new pay rise for players.
Super Netball, they've clinched a really good, for them, broadcast deal, in revenue terms with Fox, and what that means, I think, is some sort of certainty of income, and that means that they can pay their players really well as well.
It'll be easier to tally up the financial losses than it will be to measure the health of all sports after lockdowns end.
The big challenges now are trying to get people to re-engage with community sport. So, especially in the likes of Victoria's case, where we've missed 2 seasons of community sport.
A drop in volunteer registrations is another worry.
It's a priority to get 7 to 10, 11-year-olds, which is our biggest concern, who've been really impacted by the challenges of being home so long, out in their footy clubs and on the footy field again. And so we're going to partner strongly with leagues, clubs, states to make that happen.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.